Okay, the same as the other meeting, right? Okay, I would recommend that come a little early and join the pro meeting if you're in new techniques. And okay, I'm going to get going here. So I have a number of topics. I think I can cover this pretty quickly. What's the time here? Oh, I've got a little time thing. I've already taken four minutes, half my time. Okay, let's just keep going. Okay. So I just wanted to point out, we've made a modifications to the high-level priority plan. That contains the long-term goal of 20,000 occultations per day. And we've added with uniform spatial and local time coverage on a sustained basis, because with all the commercial data, we've talked about this among a number of us, numbers is not a good metric. So the high-level priority plan has now been modified to contain this language. And I think that's real positive. This is important for I think in the NWP group, but I think climate and new techniques could also discuss this. So our recommendation was encouraging technology and retrieval developments for improving planetary boundary layer profiling and their utilization in NWP. So that was our recommendation to CGMS. And the feedback we got is, could you provide the CGMS with some use cases, some examples, some concrete examples of what you mean? So I would really strongly recommend the NWP subgroup and maybe the new technique subgroup to come up with specific tests, specific ways to get this technology moving. And I don't want to recommend what that would be, but I'd like you to think about that. And then we're going to bring that back to CGMS, and we're going to say, this is what we'd like the agencies to start working on. Do this kind of test or this kind of, so I can't fill in the technical details, but please, in at least the NWP subgroup, because this is about assimilating and the new techniques as well, and climate possibly as well. Maybe less so for climate, but try to come back to us and we can talk about it on the final day, Wednesday. And of course, we'll have time to get this together. Please come back with something concrete that we can bring to CGMS regarding this recommendation. And if you're confused by that, let me know and we'll try to clarify that. Are there any questions about what I mean now? Okay. And we're going to distribute this set of slides to you all, to the chairs. Okay, and maybe to the whole list. I don't know what the right thing. Okay, this has been seen many times. I'm not going to dwell on it. This was another view graph that came from the CGMS risk assessment. I have the title of the presentation here. You can find it online. I don't want to do that. So Romex results already been discussed. What we want to bring back, as Wei said, is progress on Romex. So we're going to bring something back to CGMS 53 on Romex. So please keep that in mind in your working groups, in the NWP working group, that we're going to want to bring something back. This is something that was recently released. It's very relevant to our community. It's a commercial best practices document. You can find it online. And I recommend that the subgroups look at this and at least be aware of this and think about, is there something here that we want to comment on? We are, in a sense, the community that's ahead in terms of using commercial, and then CGMS went ahead and created their own version of a best practices document. Is there something here we strongly agree with, strongly disagree with, want to endorse? So in the different working groups, I strongly recommend you at least be aware of this. You can find it online. Again, Google it if you have trouble. We'll help you there. Maybe we can add the link here. But take a look at it. Okay. And then another topic that keeps coming up is Romex for space weather. NOAA, the coordination group for Space Weather Coordination Group, sorry. Space Weather Coordination Group is part of the CGMS. It's not quite like a scientific working group, but it's kind of similar to that. They've been very active and they are interested. They've been very active in ionospheric activities, including RO. And This is for the space weather subgroup. And so I think the space weather subgroup should think about, could we do a Romex for space weather? And if you're interested in that, we could bring that back to CGMS and try to figure out some way to do that. So that was definitely discussed at CGMS. The agency, NOAA, is sort of leading the coordination group for space weather, or the space weather coordination group at the CGMS. And so if we have something we want to bring back to them, this would be a good opportunity. And I'm welcome to field any questions about that. Okay. Other topics. This is, I think, is my final slide. Yeah. All right. Other topics. AIML is sort of a theme at the CGMS. Thought it'd be an interesting idea for us to bring examples from the RO community where we use AI, ML, and the cloud. Both of these technologies are sort of a theme. AI, ML has a lot of discussion at CGMS. They ask the different agencies to come up with what they're doing in this area. And so if we, as an IRWG, have examples of AI, ML that's penetrated into our work, we could bring that forward and see if they're willing to accept that as an agenda item. If we don't, that's fine too. And then cloud, I know that Stephen Leroy has worked on the cloud. If we want to bring that forward to CGMS, say, here's what RWG, the RO community is doing with the cloud, we could put a short presentation together and explain that. Those are all good things to sort of keep our visibility high. This hybrid disaggregated architectures are a topic of discussion. I think that's pretty understood what that means. There's CGMS high-level statements on that. If we want to say something about that, we have commercial, we have dedicated constellations. In the future, there's going to be different ways of doing CGMS with, like, NOAA has this neon constellation. Maybe we want to make statements there. So something to keep in mind. And we've already talked about reviewing the current draft of the best practices for climate monitoring. So we'll distribute that. And we'd love to get your feedback. It's pretty short. It started in the climate group. It's been edited. I think we did send it at some point to a number of you, but definitely want to use this opportunity to get more comments. And then we're going to try to get it accepted by the CGMS. And then finally, we've talked about this already, frequency of IRWG workshops. That should be something to consider. I think we'll probably finalize that at the plenary on Wednesday. But I think it makes sense to discuss that in the subgroups. So that's my portion. I don't really know how far over time we are. But I guess if people have comments or questions, maybe now we can entertain them. And if not, you guys will be getting together tomorrow and talking. So,
yeah, Tony,
yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Stephen Leroy.
Stephen Leroy. Okay.
So just a quick plug. So I've been working with Endrit Shahai on machine learning convolutional neural networks to actually come up with level 3 maps of refractivity and so forth, and it works quite well. So
okay, well,
it's work that's
I think that'd be great to have an example from our community. Usually it's the agencies that get asked to do that because they've been tasked to put people. But if we have something, we can say that, well, the RWG has something and we can socialize that. So I appreciate that. I wanted to sort of answer Rick, by the way, that I think we do very well at CGMS. I think they're very impressed with Romex, and we're ahead on commercial. We're the community that's farthest ahead. And they generally accept our recommendations very readily. So I would say it's not like we're being questioned about the value. I think what we do is valued. So it's my opinion.
Right, and I think we have learned how to formulate recommendations. So when we have been new as a group, we had recommendations like Noah shall fly Cosmic 2, and that's the way how it does not work. So no agency
Right.
want.
No, yeah.
So we for example, we say we need the data at low latitudes, and which constellation could bring this, and then they have to decide how to
Right.
do it.
No, I think that's a great point. We're a scientific advisor to CGMS. We're not, yeah, it's a great point.
And sometimes you feel what, for example, your MedSat would like to do anyhow, and if the recommendation is right, then there's a even bigger chance that it's accepted. And time-wise, I think we've been doing very. We are almost back to the original schedule where the poster sessions should start at 5:30, and it's.
Wow, that's amazing. All right, it's been a long day, so let's get moving. Okay, thank you.
Just one quick note, the posters are actually upstairs